please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynette Menezes. I'm a professor of medicine in the Division of Infectious Disease and the Assistant Vice President for International for USF Health. I wanted to warmly welcome each and every one of you this afternoon for the Study Abroad Fair. Are we doing a round of introductions or you wanted me to go ahead and?
Just a quick introduction for the presenters.
Okay.
And so as Patty mentioned, my name is Jesse Casanova. I'm the Assistant Director of International Programs for USF Health. And then I will work with faculty and students when it comes to creating these programs and making sure that everything is running smoothly. So I think we have Dr. Burke on here as well.
Yeah, I think I'll just go when it is my turn. So you guys please take a few minutes to share what you'd like. And then as each of us come up, we'll introduce ourselves just to move it along a little quicker. Thank
Patty,
you.
I'll give it back to you.
Okay. So thank you all so much for joining us today to learn more about the different study abroad opportunities as well as international courses offered through the College of Public Health. The Office of National Scholarships and USF World will also be presenting information regarding different scholarship opportunities that are available to you. The Student Health and Wellness Center at USF is also present to discuss immunizations and overall physical and mental health. Each presenter will have approximately 10 minutes to present. Students, please feel free to begin the conversation in the chat feature, as well as we will be addressing questions there. We will also have a little bit of time at the end to answer any that you may have that were not addressed in the chat. We have lots of information to share, so I would like for us to jump right in. Our first presenter is Dr. Burke, who is here to share information regarding our study abroad opportunity in Canada.
Okay, I am sharing my screen. Can everyone see it? Uh-oh, I froze for a minute. Do you see my screen?
Yes, I see it now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Everything is different on Zoom, so I'm not quite as used to it. But hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am the Director of Experiential Learning for the College of Public Health, and so this always excites me very much to see the opportunities that we have for our students in the coming year. And I'm particularly lucky because I also take a group of students to a study abroad, and so mine is the Public Health in Canada experience. It will take place in spring break. The week is March the 10th through the 17th this year. We have the opportunity in the past. This is my fourth time, I believe. But this year we're also including Montreal in the experience. So we'll do a comparison with Montreal and Quebec City as well. And then, like I said, I am the instructor, Summer Burke. So it is a course that is open to undergraduate students and graduate students. A little bit more. So the general information about this particular experience is you take it as a 3-credit course. It is either, if you're an undergrad, PHC 4116, or if you're a graduate student, it is PHC 6945. The course is a comparison between the US and Canadian health systems. Topics that and so just basically before you go, and then while we're there, of course, we'll do the Canadian part, but before you go, we will have opportunities to get a little bit deeper into the topics that we're going to explore and more of the US health system so that we're all on a nice even playing field when we get there. In the past, I've had students from different majors across campus, in nursing, psychology, public health, and health science, of course, are the most popular. The topics that we will, and the visits that we'll do this year include an adolescent health center. We will be talking about drug use and visiting a facility for safe needle exchange. We have palliative care opportunities and kind of the end of life differences between the Canadian system and the US system. A hospital, a monastery where we explore the history of health in North America. It's one of the earliest facilities in all of North America. And then we have several nonprofits as well that we will visit. One of my favorite components of this opportunity is to also support local communities. So this is a service learning course where you'll do some service in your local community. Most of us will be from Tampa, so We do it here in Tampa, but we can, if you're not a local student, we can do that wherever your local community is. And then we do an experience while we're in Canada as well. And then, of course, we wouldn't, you can learn all of this here if we didn't think that the culture is a super important part of study abroad. And so we will have a lot of opportunities for students to really dig in and explore the culture of Quebec, which is a French speaking province in Canada. So I'll just let you read this, depending on what type of student you are. But if you're an undergraduate student, here at the top are some different ways of these courses. MPHC 4116 is the course that you will have for Canada, Japan, or one of the Panama experiences. So this will apply to all of them. But this is how the courses apply to your major. If you are a graduate student, this is the primary, this is in the spring, the only opportunity that's available for graduate students. And this course is an elective in the MPH. And then, of course, cost and those types of things are important. The tuition and fees for this course either is a 3-credit course, be it undergrad or graduate. And then the program fee is listed here, approximately $3,100. We will be finalizing that here very shortly and can share those. This includes your ground transportation to and from the airport. We have 7 nights accommodation, 2 in Montreal and 5 in Quebec City. And we will be taking a train between the cities, and so that's included. Bus passes for students to use while you're in the city, so that you can explore some on your own during your free time. 7 meals are included in all of your breakfast, so that's very helpful. And then, of course, all of our excursions that we do and the events that we attend are in this program fee. So what isn't included is airfare, your tuition, and the few meals that are not covered, and your souvenirs or things that you buy along the way. So the next steps, if you're interested in this experience with me, is to send me an email. Many of you have already done a Google Doc and we've reached out already. So you have that contact information. If not, jot it down, send me an email. I will interview students, and once you're accepted, we'll start working on the USF travel and registration process, help you register, talk about payments and deposit, and then you pack. And if you didn't notice from the pictures along the way, is that it will be very cold and snowy. So it's a great opportunity to really get out of the Florida climate if this is where you are spending most of your time, and just something different for spring break, have a cold spring break. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Burke. Okay, and next we have Elizabeth Dunn, who is here to discuss the Study Abroad Japan program. You're on mute, Elizabeth.
Oh, sorry, thank you. I'm not used to using Zoom, so I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen. Okay. All right. So hi, my name is Elizabeth Dunn. I am actually the faculty member that is leading the Public Health in Japan and Public Health in Panama courses next summer. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of information about what we usually have in store in the past. We are still in the planning process, moving into as we're kind of moving into this fall semester into spring. So currently we are hosting or planning to host our Public Health in Japan course next May 2024, and Japan is actually one of the healthiest countries in the world. So we typically go for about 10 days. We visit upwards of about 8 different cities all throughout Japan, from Tokyo to Hiroshima, Kyoto, some of the islands outside of Hiroshima, Gifu, Gujo, and some of the service activities that we do during our time there really correlate or pertain to working with the connection points that we have with the University of Gifu. So we actually work with the medical students and nursing students as they are doing community-based work in some of the rural villages of Japan, working in clinics and learning a little bit about some of the health outcomes and concerns and challenges that they see, all the way to just learning about what it's like to study in Japan within the health sector or health field. We also go to a local school and learn about nutrition and policies that are in place in Japan centered around health and nutrition. And we actually have lunch with the children and get to kind of see how they go through the process of preparing and serving their classmates and being part of that process. Other than that, we do a lot of cultural tours throughout our trip. We learn about the health effects of the nuclear bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima, all the way to looking at the connections between Buddhism and Shintoism and health. So the religious and mental health side as well. So we are still in the works of finalizing our schedule, but here are some images from our trips in the past. I've gone 2 times so far, and we are looking forward to 2024. If you are interested in going to Japan, as well as Panama, when I jump into that, this is my contact information on this slide. You are welcome to contact me to schedule your interview. That's the first thing that I do when we're scheduling our study abroads, is to have that connection point and to get to know each other, but also to give priority to those that are taking the time to sit with me, go through that interview process in the fall, so that we can have you secured and start collecting payments as soon as that opens, so that we have that process kind of go through. Furthermore, with the Japan trip, all of the costs include airfares, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm going to go based off of our last year's payment scale, but to give you kind of an idea of how it's set up. As for Panama, we're planning to go in the summer of next year. We're still planning with the dates and coordination of that process. But this past summer, there was a lot of trips into the rural communities of Embra, as well as spending a lot of time in Panama City and doing day trips out into the community. Also kind of connecting with the Red Cross, learning about the Panama Canal. So a lot of different opportunities to learn about the health systems in Panama, as well as being able to connect and see how the differences are with the United States as well. So between these two, you would register for the PHC 4116, which is a 3 credit hour class, whether you're going to Japan, Panama, or Canada. And so the idea is to make sure you reach out to me if you have submitted the application, like Summer mentioned, for the interest form. We do have your information, but if you want to start that interview process, feel free to reach out and email me with a few dates that you would be able to conduct your interview, and we would love to have you. We've already conducted about 5 or 6 interviews for Japan, so and the space is limited for both of our study abroad trips to about 20 students. So we look forward to having you join us. But just to kind of give you an idea with each of the major, with your major and how it might apply to your classes. These are high impact courses. So that's a question that I get a lot, is will this count towards that high impact practice requirement that I need for my gen ed requirements? These classes are fit in that category, whether you're going to Canada, Panama, Japan. So that's really important to know, as well as they're designed for the Global Citizens Project if you need that as a requirement for the GCP. For my two classes, we do take the Bachelor of Science in Public Health students as well as other undergraduate students. It is a public health general elective for those that are getting their BS/PH, as well as a public health skills course or a general upper level elective. If you are not in the College of Public Health, I'm sure if you have a requirement for an upper level elective or you need to meet certain requirements, that we can figure out how it fits into your degree requirements as well. Also the class can count towards your concentration areas. So if you're getting a public health minor in global health, nutrition, infection control, homeland security and emergency management, or environmental health, we can work with the students to see how it fits your concentration. And then for some, it might even fit for your minor if you need a class. Like for the homeland security and emergency management one, that has been counted if needed. And of course, we always recommend that you talk to your advisor to make sure it fits within your course progression plan and how that works. This is based on last year's costs and requirements. Japan, we're still kind of working, but the cost actually ended up being about $4,800. So we're looking at the cost for next year to be roughly around that cost all the way to maybe 5,000 and so much and 300, between that kind of wiggle room. It all depends on like the cost of transportation. So for Japan, airfare is included in the cost, unlike Panama or Canada. So we always like to make sure that everybody knows that with Japan, that airfare is included. So the airfare could range from about $1,400 to $2,000. So a lot of those costs are going to be associated with whatever the airfare is at that point. So we're in the works to kind of see what those costs look like, and hopefully to have a range of a better range in the next couple of weeks, actually. Same with Panama. We have about a range of what the problem fees cost. We are still working and coordinating with that since we are so we still have a little bit more time. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, I wanted you to kind of see what the costs include. So your tuition and fees are separate from the program fees. I always like to mention that you would, your class is going to be scheduled as a 3-credit course. That is separate, but the program fees for Japan, I always like to just make sure everybody knows that the difference between Japan and Panama and Canada is that Japan, it does include your airfare. So the cost is going to be a little bit more. Whereas Panama, the fees are just including all your transportation internally, your accommodations like hotel, local transportation, all the excursions and planned events, and then some meals. Japan is the same thing. We go to 8, like I mentioned, about 8 different cities. So internally, we have to sometimes use additional airfare, or we use the fast rail, the fast train, as well as taxis, buses, local rail, and so forth. So just to kind of give you an idea of the costs. As for the design, I think it's very similar design as what Summer was mentioning. We do pre-travel orientations and a little bit of language learning, and kind of looking at some of those things. We do have pre-travel readings and site visits for some, as well as little orientation type meetings to learn about the history and culture and so forth. But during travel, you will participate in like different debriefings. You'll be working on social media assignments throughout the class. And the idea is that you're going to be participating in all programming, and that's the main kind of component of the points for your assignments within. And then once you return, and you also have a number of service learning hours within, kind of like with Summer mentioned. And then once you return, you have your post-travel reflection paper on service learning and then your final photo voice project. So we always just like to let you know that if you are planning ahead, that we try to be in the moment. We do have some assignments to have you reflect and think about what you're learning and what you're experiencing, but we do want to make sure that you're taking in and you're really focusing on the experience while we're outside of the country. And like we mentioned, if you email me, actually, I'm with Panama too, sorry about that, for Japan or Panama, this is my contact information. And you'll kind of move into, once I understand that you're interested, then I'll make sure that you have the information for the preliminary application through Study Abroad Office. We'll conduct our interviews, and then we'll start the process for, registration and so forth. You could also complete our Study Abroad interest form, which is for all study abroads through the College of Public Health, and that is the tiny URL for that link. Oh, actually, it's not Study Abroad, it's Bowls Abroad. I'm so sorry. Okay. Other than that, we will also inform you of any kind of deposits or final payments and that schedule for those as well as they are finalized. Other than that, I think that's about it for Panama and Japan. And I look forward to hearing from anybody that might be interested.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And then next we have Dr. Arlene Calvo. She is here to discuss the Panama courses.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Arlene Calvo. I am a faculty member at the College of Public Health based in Panama, actually at the City of Knowledge. And I'm going to share with you 2 graduate level courses that we teach here in Panama. I'm going to share. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. The first one is called International Health Education. This is a nice elective. It's interdisciplinary, where we work at a semi-rural community developing health education interventions. We work conducting formative research, developing the intervention, and an evaluation plan of the health education intervention. This course runs through Maymester, so it's a month-long course. We do online learning before coming to Panama for 3 weeks, and then the group comes to Panama for 8 days and culminate the experience here. You will be required to work on this project and present at the end of the course. The approximate cost runs at around $1,200, and that includes the local transportation, the lodging at a hotel in downtown Panama, the breakfast, lunch, but it does not include the international travel, your passport, and your actual tuition. This is a 3-credit course, and the international travel dates are May 22nd to the 30th of 2024. This is my email, calvoae@usf.edu. This is, again, more of a hands-on learning type of experience. The other course is International Perspectives in Women's Health Issues, PHC 6674. This is also a graduate level. It applies to both master's and doctoral levels, the same as the previous course I just presented. In this course, which is more of a seminar type of course, it runs throughout summer C, and students learn on a global perspective about women's health issues online before culminating the learning experience in Panama, also 8 days long. And here we visit different agencies working on women's health issues. This is a great class, by the way. I get students every year telling me that it was life-changing So if you're interested in women's health issues, it is recommended. You do learn about things that occur related to gender issues worldwide in India, Africa, Europe, the US, and then come to Panama and learn more of a style of a case study related to women's health issues in Panama. Again, the course runs throughout summer C, and the international travel dates to Panama are in the month of July 10th to the 17th, 2024. It is a 3 credit graduate level course. And again, my email is calvoae@usf.edu. The cost is similar to the other course, around $1,200. And again, it doesn't include the airfare. It includes almost everything else. For all of these courses, you need to have your passport up to date, and don't forget that you cannot travel internationally if your passport expires less than 6 months after the travel date. So be aware of that. And you need to work on getting your passport soon before the courses. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'll be happy to share syllabi and more detailed information if you're interested. Again, both of these courses are interdisciplinary, so we do welcome students from other areas beyond public health, such as medicine, nursing, anthropology, sociology, and any other type of related area of studies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Calvo. Next, we have Tammy Shudak. She's here to discuss USF in London.
All right. Hi, everyone. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm actually just going to share the flyer for this class. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So USF London is a bit of a different beast. This program is set up differently than some of our other exchange programs or travel abroad programs. USF London is going to be, it fits into summer B, so this is June 25th to July 25th. So this is a 4-week program. The cost is about $5,500, and just like the other programs, except for Japan, does not cover the flight and the food. So this program, like I said, is set up a little bit differently. So over the 4 weeks, you will take an AM class and a PM class. So you actually, when you go to London, you take 2 classes, total of 6 credits. And you typically have class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on the weekends, you're free to explore London and some other parts of Europe too, if you'd like to, you know, hop on a train and go see Brussels, for example, or France. So in the AM or PM classes, what we're offering in public health is introduction to public health in the morning, and then sex health and decision making in the afternoon. Both of these are general education courses. You can take one, you can take both, or you could even take a Harry Potter class in the morning and take sex health and decision making in the evening. So when I say this program is different, it's as if USF takes our faculty and our students from this campus and sets it down in London. So there is quite a bit of faculty who goes. There's 10 to 12 different faculty members. We're all teaching 2 classes, and it's really small classes. We max out around 20, 25. They're typically smaller than that though. And it's a more, I haven't been on the other at abroads, but this one feels more independent. You are given an Oyster card, which is the public transit system, and you find your way to the classroom. It's a great way to build autonomy and some international travel skills. Of course, we're there with you all the way through. So typically what a week looks like is we will hold a class in the classroom building, let's say Monday and Wednesday, and we'll cover the content of the course on Monday, Wednesday. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, we would have excursions. So let me give you a little sense of what we might do on these excursions. I'll start with sex health and decision making. This course examines sexual health and reproductive health through a biological, psychological, and sociocultural lens, and through that public health lens as well. So things we do, we went to the Pride Parade last year. We went to the Science Museum to see historical objects and artifacts relating to sexual behavior and contraception. This year, we hope to go to the West End and see a theatrical production of Moulin Rouge or Six. We have partnered with an organization called Ella's, and they work to get victims of sex trafficking back on their feet. They do a really incredible work. We took a tour last year, which I hope to repeat this coming summer. It's called Sex in the City Walking Tour. And this one explores the history of midwifery and contraception and prostitution, sexually transmitted infections, and so on. And then one of our favorite excursions from last year, which we will repeat this year, is a visit from Sophie Cooch. She is an intimacy coordinator in the TV and film industry. So she presents on the balance between consent and artistic expression, along with some tricks of the trade that they use to conceal body parts and things like that. So it's really a fun and interactive way to explore sexual health. Introduction to public health, I would say, think of it as like the charcuterie platter of public health. There's really a taste of all aspects of public health in there. So environmental, occupational health, epidemiology and biostatistics, community and family health, nutrition, public health history. So there's a little, you get to dabble in different areas and career fields of public health. So in this class, the excursions would look like another walking tour, and it says, who needs doctors anyway? And so it looks at placing value on the work of public health and sort of the differences between public health and medicine, and also how we work together. Again, visiting the Science Museum, exploring, public health campaigns about vaccination and breastfeeding and pregnancy, infectious diseases, things like that. And you can't go to London without visiting the John Snow pump. This is where he discovered the source of the cholera outbreak. And he's known as the father of epidemiology. So of course you can't go to London and not see that. And then we'll have an opportunity to kind of do a scavenger hunt around London, where we look for public health in practice. So we go find the ways that Londoners do public health and compare that to what we're doing in the US. There's lots of other opportunities to sort of fit in excursions, but that should give you an idea. It's half classroom time, half excursion time, weekends off. You live in flats with other roommates, and there is the opportunity to take classes outside of the College of Public Health, but I'd highly recommend ours. But of course, if you want to take public health in the morning and take, I don't know, sociology in the afternoon, there's the option there. So on this flyer, there's a QR code, and I put that in the chat too, so you can download that. That'll take you directly to the USF in London program. And I don't personally conduct interviews like the other instructors do. That is all done through the London program. And you can find all the information you need there, information about scholarships, information about program dates and passports, and all of that. all of that information there. So I put my email address in the chat, and if you have questions, please email me. And you can also reach out to the USF in London staff. So thank you. I appreciate you all being here.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And next we have Lauren Roberts from the Office of National Scholarships.
Hi all. I am also terribly inept at Zoom, but I'm also going to share my screen. Let's see if it'll even let me. Oh, it doesn't like the recording. 1 second. All right. Can we see this?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So, hi everyone. I am Lauren Roberts. I'm the Assistant Director of our Office of National Scholars. We actually changed our name last year from Office of National Scholarships to Office of National Scholars. Still do the same thing. We just were often getting confused for financial aid, so we made that little adjustment. But I'm going to be talking briefly about a couple of study abroad scholarships that we help students apply for. So our office works with students on applications for nationally competitive opportunities. So that includes a myriad of things, research programs, graduate fellowships, all sorts of stuff. But my sort of corner of the ONS world is undergraduate study abroad. So I'm going to show you our website a little bit briefly. So you can kind of find some of these resources. So I'm going to be mostly talking about two scholarships today. One is the Gilman Scholarship and one is Fund for Education Abroad. Both are primarily geared towards students with high financial need. For the Gilman Scholarship, having a Pell Grant is an eligibility requirement. For Fund for Education Abroad, it's not a technical eligibility requirement, but I have never seen anyone get it who does not receive a Pell Grant, so that is highly preferred. But I'll kind of pop through here. So just to quickly run through our website so you can get a sense of it. Under our opportunities tab, we do have several different options, including undergraduate study abroad. You can go here. These are scholarships that can be applied to study abroad programs. So the Gilman Scholarship and Fund for Education Abroad are both listed here. We also have Freeman Asia, which is very similar to the Gilman Scholarship, but you have to be spending at least 8 weeks in Asia. So those are going to be more for full semester programs. And the Boren Scholarship is to study language abroad for at least 6 months. So those are both a little bit more niche. So I'm focusing on Gilman and Fund for Education Abroad. And then briefly, just because I think we have some graduate students on the call, I just wanted to also point out the Fulbright program, which is a little bit separate from study abroad, but the Fulbright U.S. student program is run through the Department of State, and this is an opportunity to spend a year abroad pursuing graduate study, independent research, or English teaching. So if you're interested in doing research during your graduate program or pursuing another master's abroad, the Fulbright program is a great fully funded way to do that. This is for students who've already graduated undergrad, or you can apply during your senior year of undergrad. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to reach out. I just wanted to plug that for a second, but this cannot be applied to your traditional study abroad programs. All right, the Gilman Scholarship. So the Gilman Scholarship is also funded by the U.S. Department of State for Pell Grant recipients. So it is only for undergraduate students. Same for Fund for Education Abroad. If you are an undergraduate student who receives a Pell Grant and plans to study abroad, you should absolutely be applying for the Gilman Scholarship. Unfortunately, if you're planning to go on a spring or spring break program, the deadline has passed. That is also true for Fund for Education Abroad. But if you are looking at summer, including May-mester type programs, or even next year, you can certainly still apply. The next deadline for the Gilman Scholarship will be in March. And we work with students on their applications to apply for these scholarships. So if you're interested in applying, I'll put my contact information in the chat and you can just reach out. We'd set up an appointment and I would help you work on the application. But again, it's not until March and we don't get those results until May. So it is something that will come pretty late, especially if you're studying abroad in May. You probably wouldn't have the funds until you were either abroad or sometimes even back, depending on how long your program is. So I usually say not to depend on it to pay for your program. It's more like a happy bonus toward the end at this point on the timeline, but still an amazing opportunity. Gilman is up to $5,000, so it's a pretty significant amount of money. It's not always 5,000, just kind of depends on how much they're giving away in a particular cycle, but anywhere from 3 to 5,000, kind of depending on that, and the cost of your program is pretty typical. All right. Fund for Education Abroad. This is a little bit more competitive than the Gilman Scholarship, but we have had students get it, usually a handful here and there. Like I said, the spring application is closed, but for summer programs, Fund for Education Abroad will be open usually late November and due in mid-January. It is also up to $5,000 for semester programs. I think it usually ends up being closer to 1,000 or 2,500 for summer or shorter term programs. But it's a great opportunity. Fund for Education Abroad does preference students of color and first generation college students, in addition to community college students, but obviously that's not applying to us here at USF. But if either of those resonate with you, definitely check out Fund for Education Abroad. It's a great scholarship. It used to require a recommendation letter. It does not anymore. It does, however, require that you get a form filled out by the financial aid office. So if you're interested in applying for this for a summer program, I would definitely go into financial aid before the end of the fall semester, because if you try to go in at the start of the spring semester, a week before it's due, they will tell you that they don't have enough time to fill it out. So any questions on any of these, feel free to tell me in the chat or contact me. I'll put my info in the chat. But basically, if you're a Pell Grant recipient and an undergraduate student, we should be chatting. So thank you so much for the time. And I will also put the link to our website in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And next we have Dr. Brandon McLeod with Education Abroad Scholarship Opportunities with USF World.
Hello, thank you. No, I am also a little bit rusty with Zoom, so I apologize. This. It'll only let me do full screen sharing. So give me just 1 second.
You're fine. Take your time.
One of the questions in the chat was actually asking about spring study abroad scholarships, and nothing through my office, but I think Brandon will talk about that here in a second.
I will be. Let's try again. We'll see if this works. I have not used Zoom in a long time, and it's mad at me.
Just to kind of ask a question that kind of follows up with that, do the students have to be a Pell Grant recipient, or they could still apply and see if they can get it, or is it only Pell Grant?
For the Gilman Scholarship, only Pell Grant recipients. For Fund for Education Abroad, they don't have to have a Pell Grant. It's just highly preferenced in the review process.
Okay, so I think you can all see the presentation. This is a Canva presentation, so there is a link to it. I'll just drop the link in the chat because there are a bunch of links in the presentation. It'll be easier for you to click on them just through that instead of sharing 15 links in the chat. So Study Abroad Scholarship Edition. So financing your study abroad. There are different kinds of ways you can get funding. So there's Pell Grants, Florida Prepaid, Bright Futures. All of these can be used for faculty-led exchange and affiliate programs. That does not necessarily mean that they are able to be used for your specific program. So you will have to talk to financial aid to find out what will apply to your program. Now, financial aid won't actually know what aid of yours applies to your program until your aid is posted in OASIS. So until you know what your aid is, they can't tell you what's going to apply. That being said, they do have a financial aid website, scholarship website, which you can choose the term and the type of program. And then it will list below which types of aid should apply to your specific type of program. So as you've heard, there are different kinds of programs. There are direct programs. These are faculty-led programs. If you're looking on the Ed Abroad website, these would be the ones that start with USFN. So these are like the ones you've been hearing about, the Japan program, the London program, the what was it, Panama, I think, program. I can't remember the others. I'm sorry. So those are all faculty led. Those are direct credit. We also have exchange programs and affiliate programs. The financial aid packages can apply to those as well. And then there are non-affiliate programs. So if you don't like anything USF is offering and you are really intent on going to, I don't know, Botswana, and we don't have a Botswana program, there are non-affiliate providers that you can go through, but your financial aid will not apply to those. And they may not have, you may not be able to transfer the credit back into USF. So we very strongly recommend against non-affiliate programs. So you also need to plan ahead and save. We have Bull to Bull on campus. They are peer financial advisors that can help you come up with a study plan to make sure that you're being, fiscally responsible as you plan for these study abroad opportunities. And then, of course, what I'm here to talk the most about, scholarships. Yay. So where to find scholarships? Well, there are Ed Abroad scholarships that are administered by me. These are predominantly university-wide. There are other university level scholarships. There are department level scholarships. I know that the business school has scholarships. I know that health has scholarships. Education was giving $1,500 to every student going abroad last year. So your specific department may have scholarship funds available. The Office of National Scholarships, which you just heard from, the inimitable Lauren Roberts. If you are a Pell Grant recipient, she will guide you on the Gilman Scholarship application process, and she is incredible. So if you are eligible, I very, very strongly recommend applying for the Gilman. There are also local, national, and international scholarships. If you're in the Sarasota area and you want to go to Italy, there is a Sarasota Italian Cultural Experience Club or something like that. They have a scholarship. So you've got to look up all these different groups. Check out if you are part of a service or philanthropic, fraternal, academic, or community or religious organization, they may have scholarship funds available as well. So these are the education abroad scholarships. Now, not all of these are available every semester. It just depends on what funds are available. But generally, we always have Ginshaft, Greenbaum, Simmons, and Federal Credit Union every semester. Those are available, but it depends on the semester which ones will have more. Oh, and I forgot to put the GETA on there, the Global Explorers Traveler Award. That one we do typically have as well, and that one we give out more of those than any other scholarship. These all have different requirements, and I have a QR and a link to the Ed Abroad scholarship information page at the end of the presentation. So you can just go to it then. I'm not going to go through each of these because they're mostly the same. Generally, you have to have above a 3.0 for any USF scholarship. Most of these take financial need into consideration. Other ones have specific interest requirements. So the Mark and Kay or International Affairs Scholarship, you have to be interested in international affairs. You don't have to be minoring or majoring in international affairs. You just have to be interested in it, which I think most of you are. You wouldn't be here at a study abroad fair if you weren't interested in international affairs to some degree. And then like the Wilcox Exeter Scholarship, that is only for students who are going on an exchange program to the University of Exeter. And those are semester or year-long programs, but they are very cool. And those have additional funding. Like we give a lot of funding to Exeter students. So the application process. So all of the EAO scholarships are administered through Award Spring. So there are fall, spring, and summer application cycles. I will go over the dates in a minute. So it's one big application to rule them all for any Lord of the Rings fans. There is a 500-word statement of intent where you have to talk about, why you want to go. What are you going to achieve? What are your academic and professional goals? Why do you need the money? What makes you unique? These essays are integral to your application. The applications are reviewed by a committee, and the essay is the best means they have of determining who to give funding to. The Ed Abroad scholarships are extremely limited in who we can award. We can only award about 12% of applicants each term. So that's not a lot. So you really have to sell yourself in that 500 words. So the application deadlines, the spring study abroad awards are tentative still. I'm waiting for the Office of Financial Aid to make the final announcement about when Award Spring will be open. It closes from July through mid-November for them to do updates. And so once they tell me it's open, then I will send out an announcement to anyone that has an application, to any of the global stewards, and to our Ed Abroad Advisory Council so they can share the information with you. But tentatively, November 27th through December 9th. So that's the application process. After December 9th, the committee will review the applications and then make the awards, hopefully before January. Last year, the Financial Aid Office announced they were opening it, and then they delayed and they delayed and delayed. And so we didn't actually get the awards out until early January. Summer applications will open January 1st and close around Valentine's Day. And then for fall study abroad, they'll open June 1st and close June 18th. If you are going on a study abroad or you're planning to go on a study abroad program in spring, and then you end up not going and you decide you want to go in summer, you do have to apply again. It's not a one-time application for all of the cycles. Each cycle has its own application. And I will say you need to be a committed student in order to be fully eligible for these scholarships. So when you apply, you will need to have committed. I think for the summer ones, the deadline to commit is February 15th, which is why we set the application date then. But the deadline to actually apply for a study abroad program is generally January 31st. Health might be a little bit different. Jesse can give you the most accurate information on that. So more resources. So there are a bunch of websites that have lists of study abroad scholarships that are outside of the university. So goabroad.com, studyabroad.com, diversityabroad.com, careeronestop.org, diversityabroad.org. They changed from a .com to a .org. Careeronestop.org is a U.S. government website that lists, 10,000 different scholarships for all kinds of different things. One of them is a scholarship for tall people, which I find very offensive as someone that's 5'4". It's a scholarship for anyone that's over, I think, 6'3". The University of Minnesota also has a phenomenal education abroad scholarship database. I stole this from Lauren Roberts in her presentation, which you can watch financing your study abroad experience. That's that bottom link. That's an hour-long, in-depth look into how to finance study abroad. So Lauren did that, I think, 2 years ago, but everything is still pretty accurate. And then, of course, there's the USF Education Abroad Scholarship Funding and Sources. This is a PDF that lists scholarship opportunities based on country, based on major, all kinds of different things. So check that out. It's a huge document. Make sure you sign up for the USF Ed Abroad Bulls Connect. We send out announcements through there about deadlines, scholarship application deadlines, opportunities to get engaged, all kinds of fun things. And then there's the QR and the link for the Ed Abroad scholarship page, which lists all the qualifications for those scholarships that I showed you earlier. And I can't see the chat to know if there are any questions.
I do not see anything for you yet.
I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm going to put that link into the chat. And it's a live updated link. So if I were to go in and make any changes to this presentation, the next time you open the link, it would be the most up-to-date version.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. McLeod. We appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Okay, and then finally on the agenda, we have Kelly Huell. She's here with Student Health and Wellness Center to discuss immunizations and overall physical and mental health.
Hi there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Patricia?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Let's see if I can share my screen. I just have one little slide here. So, and that's it. Let's see. See anything, or is it just still me? Let's see.
I don't see it yet.
And we practiced this the other day. Why is it not showing?
I saw it for a minute. It popped up for a minute, so you did something right.
But when I hit the share, it let's just do it that way. Can you see that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
All right. But when I go to do like the slideshow, then it disappears. But we're just going to leave it there. That's fine. If you can see that, that's great. My name's Kelly Huell. I'm the registered nurse at Student Health and Wellness Center. I'm the immunization coordinator, and I oversee our travel clinic. Just a really quick travel clinic overview. So we do see students and staff that are traveling abroad. It does not necessarily have to be associated with USF. Even if you're going for personal travel and you're going out of our country and you want to make sure you have the right immunizations, or if the countries that you're going to have requirements, or if you need any type of education regarding the country that you're going to, we do provide that to both our staff and our students. It's for staff, that's actually a nice little bonus, because we normally don't see staff for medical reasons, but we will see them for our study if they're going to be going abroad. So it's always very important when you're thinking about traveling out of our country to make sure that you consider your health and your mental well-being when you're making your travel plans, and to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, making sure that you're healthy. If you have some medical conditions or some health conditions or even mental health conditions, like how are you going to manage those things when you study abroad? And that's something that we talk about when we see patients and students here in the travel clinic. We do a complete health history. We do a complete risk assessment on our patients based on their health and their well-being, and also based on the country or countries that you are going to. A couple things about our clinic when you come to make an appointment. On my screen, you can see the address. We have moved, just in case you didn't know. We were over by the bookstore, but in May, we moved into a beautiful building next to the Gingling Center. So come and see us over there, but that's where our appointments are. And if you see on the screen there, there's our phone number for appointments and also the website as well. And you can find out some more information regarding all of our services at our USF Student Health and Center, Wellness Center. But we do save 2 slots a day for travel. We see one at our 10 o'clock and we see one at our 3 o'clock schedule. So our travel appointments can go from 45 minutes to about an hour and a half long, depending on the needs of our patient. The sooner, the better. When you know you're going out of town or you're going abroad, make that travel appointment. Please don't wait too long. Sometimes we get students in here and they're like, yeah, we're leaving next week and I need malaria and I need typhoid and I need yellow fever. And I'm like, okay, well, some of those can't be given together. So, and some of them aren't really gonna cover you until after you're gone. So we just wanna make sure we get you in here sooner or later. So don't wait. We also make sure your regular immunizations are updated, your tetanus shots, your hepatitis B, hepatitis A. A lot of those are required for travel, or not required, but recommended for travel. So we do an in-depth study of all of your review of all of your immunizations to make sure that you have what you need. We also do a personalized education on what country you're going to. So whatever country you're going, before you come, I do a whole spreadsheet based on where you're going. I make links. I make sure that you have the Department of State, the embassy information for where you're going. I make sure you have the CDC travel site for the country that you're going through. I make sure we talk about any alerts, safety alerts, health alerts, travel alerts, COVID. Right now, there's really no COVID restrictions for traveling. You don't have to show your card anymore. We're kind of doing away with that. So we'll talk about all of those things at your visit with me. If you do come and see us, our travel appointment visit's only $25. If you go to the health department or Passport Health, those can be really costly for just the appointment alone. In addition to their immunizations can be pricey as well. We do offer yellow fever, which is required for many different countries, usually in Africa and some over in Asia. We also carry the typhoid as well. We also do travel medications for malaria. So we do a broad services regarding those types of medications that we do have for that. Just consider this when you're getting some travel vaccines, insurance may not cover it. So you may want to check with your insurance carrier to see if you do need some travel vaccines, whether or not they're going to carry it. If not, there are fee for services for that. And that is on our website as well. Things that I need you to bring if you're coming to see me, make sure you bring me full records of your immunizations. You might have to call mom or dad or your pediatrician to find those, especially if you're out of the state of Florida. So bringing those immunizations will be very helpful for me to make sure that you're up to date on all of your vaccines. Any program requirements? I know that some students that do study abroad and they're doing a whole semester somewhere, that program might require some additional blood work or tuberculosis screenings. They might require some blood titers, and they might require a physical. So if you have different types of forms like that for those types of programs, make sure you bring those to your appointment with me as well. And couple of things to expect when you come to this appointment. Like I said, it could be a little bit long. It could be an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on your country. Some people are going to multiple countries, and so that might take a little bit longer as well. Like I said before, we do a total health and risk assessment, go over your medical history, any physical disabilities, any mental health disabilities or issues, any medications. We do really talk about medications a lot and about traveling with medications. We talk about diet. We talk about allergies. There's all these different things that you might not think about here in the United States that you might have to consider, oh, I'm on a gluten-free diet and I'm going here. I wonder if if I'm going to be accommodated here. So there's just so many different things that you don't really think about when you're getting ready to travel abroad. We do provide you with many different travel resources. We're all website based. So I give you a document that has really great resources for travel. Again, the CDC and the Department of the Department of State has wonderful travel alerts, and those are pretty much updated. And so I give you all of that information because all of that could change even the day of travel. So I always encourage our students to make sure that they're looking at those websites even before the day before the travel, because sometimes those things can change. Recently, there's been some polio outbreaks, there's been some measles outbreaks. And so those, again, are things that I do check before you come to make sure that we cover all of our bases when we see you. There's also some pre-travel preparations I want to go over with you. We talk about you have your passport, your itinerary, all of those things required to travel. We talk about post-travel. You might get exposed to malaria and you might not have symptoms for malaria till 3 to 6 months after you come back. So we talk about what to expect when you come back as well. We also, when I talked about earlier about malaria and typhoid medications, if you do decide that you are going to need those types of medications, that does require a second appointment with the medical provider, because I am the registered nurse. Everybody comes and sees me first. We do all the education, all the health history. And then if you need additional types of medications that require a physician's order, then we'll set you up with one of our providers that specializes in travel medications, and we'll get those medications for you. Our Bowles pharmacy here will carry those medications. They do carry our typhoid vaccine. So typhoid vaccine is an oral vaccine. And just so you know, like, you can't take the typhoid oral vaccine with the malarial medication at the same time. So when I tell you to come early, as soon as you know, that's one of the reasons. If you do need to have those two medications, we have to properly space those out. And then we also provide medications for travelers' diarrhea. We might not be used to other foods and cultures that you go and visit, and sometimes you can get an upset stomach. And so we can also provide you medication for that as well, because we don't want that to ruin your experience when you go and travel. And so that was it in about a nutshell. Like I said, I am here. We have a great resources for you. We are pretty reasonable when it comes to cost of coming here versus if you go to a private provider. Take a picture of my little slide there, and I can put it in the chat, our website and my phone number. My email's there as well too. Email me. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Hey, Miss Kelly, I'm going to Tanzania. Should I come and see you? And it's different. Like if you're going to an African country or an Asian country, even like a South American country versus like you're going to like England, there's a whole different talk when you're going to some of these other countries versus like in England or in Ireland or in Australia. You know, there's a different conversation when you're going to some of these other countries. So if you just want to just reach out to me and ask me a couple questions, I'd be happy to answer your questions as well via email. So if you have any questions in the chat box, I don't see anything yet, but you can throw something in there or you can email me. So thank you guys for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was very important information students should be aware of.
Yep.
So do we have any final questions for our presenters? Please feel free to turn your camera on, or you can drop it in the chat, whatever you prefer. Nothing? I don't see anything. I think everyone was very thorough and covered everything.
Jesse, did you have anything that you wanted to add here at the end?
No, so just a few quick tidbits. So please pay attention to some of the emails that are coming out, because that's when you'll see the links for not just to be interviewed by the faculty to be accepted into the program, but also for the registration process. The information that you have to fill out on Teradata, there's an additional link to get the approval for international travel. It's very easy. It's, you know, as Dr. Brindley would say, it's 10 minutes and a cup of coffee. So just make sure that you have all the information with you. And lastly, with regard to Kelly Hewley's presentation from the health side, please do make an appointment to go visit. The sooner the better, as she mentioned. There's additional things when you're doing the online application for travel. There's a section on there for health. So it's a health questionnaire that only Kelly's office can see. So none of us on this side can see that information. So please be truthful and honest when you fill that out, because if we do need to provide assistance, then it's their office that we'll call first, and they'll guide us on, you know, are there any specific medical things that we need to look out for to provide assistance in a timely manner. So please just make sure to do that early. And again, I want to thank as well Brandon and Lauren. there is a plethora of opportunities for financing. The sooner you start planning, the better. Any way that we can be of assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to connect you guys to either Brandon or to Lauren, and provide the links for the websites. I think those are all the general announcements that I had. So thank you all.
Thank you, Jesse. Okay, so that concludes today's event. Thank you so much again to our presenters for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. Enjoy your evening, everyone. We will be sharing the recording with everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.